I'm announcing a historic action to rescue our nation's capital from crime, bloodshed, bedlam, and squalor, and worse.
President Donald Trump ordered a federal takeover of D.C. police. That's where we're starting the 7 from the Washington Post. I'm Hannah Jewell. It's Tuesday, August 12th. Let's get you caught up with today's 7 stories. President Trump announced yesterday that he was stripping the leadership of Washington, D.C. of its ability to make law enforcement decisions. Instead, D.C. police will come under direct federal control. And Trump is deploying 800 National Guard troops to the streets of the nation's capital to fight crime. This is an extraordinary flex of federal power. Under D.C.'s Home Rule Act, the president can take over the D.C. police for a period of up to 30 days, if he declares that, quote, special conditions of an emergency nature exist. According to Trump, crime in the city constitutes such an emergency. Here's how he described it at a news conference at the White House yesterday.
Our capital city has been overtaken by violent gangs and bloodthirsty criminals, roving mobs of wild youth, drugged-out maniacs and homeless people, and we're not going to let it happen anymore. We're not going to take it.
Violent crime in D.C. has actually significantly decreased since 2023. Reacting to the news, D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser said she intended to comply with the order. She made it clear that she believed she had little power under the Home Rule Act to do otherwise. Whether the Trump administration will try and extend its federal takeover beyond 30 days is unclear. For more on this story, check out the latest episode of Post Reports. Number 2 is a Post exclusive. The Pentagon has drafted plans to create a military reaction force to deal with civil unrest. Trump's deployment of the National Guard to D.C. yesterday was the latest example of him summoning the military for domestic purposes. He previously sent the National Guard and U.S. Marines to Los Angeles in response to protests against federal immigration raids. And according to internal Pentagon papers seen by the Post, National Guard deployments could soon become a more regular occurrence. The Trump administration is evaluating plans to establish what it calls a domestic civil disturbance quick reaction force. It would be composed of hundreds of National Guard troops tasked with rapidly deploying into American cities facing protests or other unrest. The plan calls for 600 troops to be on standby around the clock so they can deploy to U.S. cities in as little as 1 hour. The proposal represents another potential expansion of Trump's willingness to deploy the armed forces on American soil. Number 3. Tariffs on goods from China were delayed again for 90 days. President Trump's sharper tariffs on Chinese products were supposed to take hold at midnight. But just in the nick of time, Trump announced that he had signed an executive order to delay them once again. Now, the world's largest 2 economies will have 90 more days to reach a trade deal. If they don't, Trump has threatened tariffs as high as 145% on one of the top trading partners of the U.S. That could send shockwaves through the economy. So reaching a deal has been a key focus for the Trump administration. China supplies a high number of household products to U.S. consumers, from smartphones to sneakers to sweaters to spoons. Number 4. Palestinians in Gaza mourned 5 Al Jazeera journalists killed in an Israeli strike. In Gaza City yesterday, crowds carried the bodies of correspondent al-Sharif and his colleagues. They were killed in a targeted Israeli strike on their tent near a hospital on Sunday, along with another journalist. For many across the Arabic-speaking world, they were the faces and voices of the past 22 months of war. 28-year-old Sharif was a near-constant on-air presence from Gaza's north. He had faced months of threats from the Israeli military, Israel called him a Hamas militant. Al Jazeera has said Israel's evidence is not credible. Jody Ginsburg is the CEO of the nonprofit Committee to Protect Journalists. She spoke to ABC News Australia yesterday.
Frankly, this is part of a pattern that we've long seen from Israel, not just in the current war, but in previous decades in which it kills journalists. It then subsequently alleges, without providing any credible evidence, that they are terrorist operatives.
According to the CPJ, more than 180 Palestinian journalists have been killed since the start of the war. Number 5. We learned more details about the shooting at the CDC headquarters. On Friday, a gunman fired scores of bullets at the Public Health Agency's offices in Atlanta. The attack forced hundreds of workers into lockdown and killed DeKalb County police officer David Rose. On Saturday, authorities identified 30-year-old Patrick White as the suspect. They have not released his motive, but CDC officials told the Post that investigators say that White targeted the agency because of his beliefs about coronavirus vaccines. Many CDC employees are outraged over how their work has been disparaged by anti-vaccine activists and the Trump administration. In particular, Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. has made false claims about the coronavirus vaccines and the CDC. The season's first hurricane is expected to develop this week. That's number 6. Tropical storm Erin formed in the Atlantic yesterday. It's predicted to intensify into a major Category 3 storm north of the Caribbean islands. It has already brought deadly, destructive weather to the Cape Verde Islands off the coast of West Africa. Now it's on a 2-week, 3,000-mile journey across the Atlantic. Forecasters are keeping a close eye on its path. It's too early to say exactly where it will end up, but people across the Leeward Islands, the Bahamas, the eastern United States, and eastern Canada should pay close attention. As the storm tracks westward, it will encounter warmer seas, and that could make it intensify more significantly. And at number 7, Taylor Swift announced a new album after a surprise midnight countdown. Swifties joke about clowning when they analyze Swift's every word and photopixel for clues about her music that aren't actually clues. But this time, they were actually correct. Late last night, a countdown appeared on Swift's website. Then at 12:12 a.m. Eastern on August 12th, the singer dropped the news her fans had been waiting for. Her 12th studio album is coming. She shared a clip announcing the news on her NFL star boyfriend Travis Kelce's podcast, which he hosts with his brother Jason.
Okay, what do we got?
We got
A briefcase.
Yep.
Mint green with TS on it.
Yep.
What's in it?
This is my brand new album, The Life of a Showgirl.
TS12!
That's pretty much all we know. Swift's website transformed into a page where fans can pre-order the album, which has an unknown release date. But if I were a betting gal, which I'm not, I'd guess she'll do it on the 12th of December. All right, you're all caught up. Thanks to everyone who emailed us yesterday your clues about the strange skipping audio gremlin that is stalking us on Spotify. Please stay with us while we investigate the issue. Or in the meantime, try listening to us on Apple or another podcast platform, or just hit play on the 7 Briefing in the Washington Post app. I'm Hannah Jewell. I'll meet you back here tomorrow.